Hey nerds, we are talking about She-Hulk episode 4. Is this not real magic? We are going to give our reviews of the episode and then get into a full breakdown of the episode starting now. Welcome to Nerd Social. I am Nathan.
And I'm Colin.
I'm Priya.
Hey, so fourth week of She-Hulk. The spoiler-free log line of this episode is She-Hulk's new client Wong is suing a musician for unauthorized use of the mystic arts. Priya, what did you think of this episode?
Well, I mean, we already knew Wong was going to be the guest character, so look, I think it was super fun. It's a different show. It's leaning heavily into kind of the comedy. It's low stakes, and I think it's being cheeky. It knows it. It's refreshing in a way. To be honest, it's a very heavy female perspective. Writer, director, and obviously Jen Walters is at the center of it. So I think it's fun. I mean, similar to Miss Marvel, I think the highlights of the
Mm-hmm.
show are the non-superhero bits. Which I think is an interesting maybe it's an interesting trend. I don't know for the TV shows, but look, I way through
Almost, yeah.
we're halfway through the kind of halfway through the season. I think the way yeah, almost, and the way the show ends kind of, gives us an indication of where the rest of the season might go. But so far, yeah, I think it's fun, it's goofy. I think there's some really kind of highlights in the episode for comedic effect, and yeah, so looking forward to kind of seeing what you guys thought as well, especially considering how non-Marvel-esque it is
Colin, what do
in
you think?
some ways.
Yeah, I tend to agree with Priya. This was a very light-hearted episode. Very cheeky, very comedic, humorous in a lot of ways, and just trying to explore kind of the lighter side of things with the low stakes and again, no, there's no sense of villains that are appearing. Even throughout the whole series, there hasn't been like a villain. Well, except for with the exception of last week's episode, but yeah, there's really not much. It's just kind of like character development, character building of Jen Walters. Um, and even with Abomination, it wasn't like a villain per se as well. So overall, I would say it's a pretty solid one. It's probably one of, because of the comedic values, probably one of my favorites so far of the season. And yeah, looking forward to more stuff that's kind of like this, kind of like off the cuff, cheeky, comedic, and yeah, with not that many stakes.
Yeah. I would say I like the episode. I don't think I liked it as much as last week. I'd probably give it a six. I think I maybe gave last week as a 6.5 or 7. It's the this and I don't know that there's anything particularly wrong about it. It's just that I think what a lot of these episodes are lacking is that they should be 45-minute episodes instead of 30-minute episodes. I understand what they're going for. It's a lighter tone, but I feel like no one else is getting real like character development besides Jen. I mean, we get a little bit about Nikki in this episode, but like yeah, we'll get into that when we get into the spoiler part. I don't know that it's a big spoiler because, like I said, the information that we get is not really doesn't really tell us anything about her, or tells us very little about her. Um, I think if they had 45 minutes instead of like the 30 or the 29 minutes that these episodes are clocking in on, um, you'd be able to get a little bit more focus from other characters. I was talking to a colleague earlier today about this. Like, I'm just thinking about back to like the Netflix shows where you had the superhero as, of course, the main focus, but say Daredevil, you got some development with Foggy, you got some development with Karen Page, and some other characters as well. And I'm not really seeing that. Um, and I understand that it's a comedy, but even in comedies, they do development with other characters besides the main character. So that's the only thing that's the issue that I'm having with these episodes in general. That's why that's why they're not necessarily hitting the highs that Miss Marvel hit for me. I enjoy the episode. I mean, I don't have I don't have the toxic issues that other people have with these episodes. I understand that they're going for comedy, but like I said, I think that they would be better served probably in a season 2 to expand these out to 45-minute episodes instead of 30-minute episodes. I understand it's supposed to be a sitcom, but I think they're comedies or especially like courtroom shows like The Good Fight that are very comedic, but they're hour shows or 45-minute shows. So I think I need more. I want more. So it's my issue with the episode is that more would be better for me. So yeah.
I do want to say one thing before we get a spoiler is that maybe they just needed to do this because in the comics I know that She-Hulk is very comedic in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, we know that Daredevil is going to show up, you know, somewhere from the trailers, somewhere in the series. So I was wondering is whether or not they're trying to kind of have the lighthearted lore episode, comparatively speaking to Daredevil, which is going to be maybe a little bit more dramatic and a little bit more less humorous, you know, when they do the Daredevil series.
Maybe, but I think like every episode has been comedic. I think they're going for a sitcom comedy, but like I don't know. Isn't Curb Your Enthusiasm like an hour show? Like there are comedies that are longer. Okay. So it's I don't have a problem with them going for comedy. Even I think it's going to be a comedy even when Daredevil shows up. But I think I just need more episode so they can flesh out some other characters.
I mean, I would agree 100% with the Nikki development because even before the show started, they were talking about her character and, you know, being a woman of color in the show. And it's kind of, I don't know much about Nikki, you know, and it's been half of the season and you're right. I mean, I kind of observed that after this episode. I'm like, we really don't know much about any of the other characters, the newer characters being introduced, right? We know about Wong. We know about Abomination to an extent because of the movie, but outside of Jen Walters, we haven't really gotten much outside of just very, you know, kind of standard, like even Puck is just kind of the guy who's in the office who tells them where to go poop, you know. We don't know anything kind of beyond that about his character either. It's even if it's a workplace kind of comedy, we don't really have any character development.
Yeah, it's unclear to me. So
I would 100%
Nikki is
agree with you
obviously
there.
her best friend, but it's unclear to me why they are. I mean, she supports Jen in everything that she's doing, and she's like her cheerleader in the corner. But like, there isn't enough. And like, when did they meet? Because she's a paralegal and she's a full on lawyer. So like, did they meet in the office? Did they? I mean, and then they became friends. I mean, that's possible, but I mean, I would like to know more about that. Like, I mean, I that sometimes happens. Like my wife is friends with her friends with like nurses and things like that. Even though she's a doctor, so it's possible. But like, there's no information about, you know, what happened or how they connected. So I don't know, or why they became friends, because there are other paralegals in that were in the DA's office as well. So yeah. Anyway, that's I guess it's a small gripe, but it's also a little annoying because I think it could be the show would be a little bit better if the episodes were a little bit longer. So yeah. Anyway, any other thoughts before we get into the breakdown?
We should just get into it.
All right. So, if you're enjoying the conversation, we will appreciate it if you like, share, and subscribe. It really helps the channel out, helps us grow. And with that, spoilers ahead. All right. So we have screenshots of this episode. Can jump to that here. So this episode starts in the Mystic Castle, which is a play on the Magic Castle in California. There's a bunch of people in a lot of people in Hollywood who have memberships to the Magic Castle. I think most notably in my mind is like Neil Patrick Harris. He's a big Magic person, and I think he was the president of the Magic Castle as well. So it's making fun of the Magic Castle. And this guy Donny Blaze, which I don't know if the Donny Blaze thing is good annoy people on the internet because they saw this name and they thought it was Johnny Blaze, which is the Ghost Rider. But
it was play on Johnny Blaze. I was like, what? Wait, Donny Blaze? What's going on there?
Yeah,
Yeah, the same thing. And when I was writing it down, I kept writing down Johnny Blaze. I was like, no, Donny Blaze.
Like, Marvel is trolling similar to the Ralph Boner thing again, which lots of people love that joke. So of course they're making another one of those jokes. So yeah, we see him not impressing the audience here with his lame magic, and I guess if you live in that world, lame magician magic would not impress you. And then he pulls out a sling ring and he starts to be irresponsible with the sling ring. This whole sequence here is just funny with Wong. So he's in Nepal. You hear him dancing to the Sopranos song. I haven't seen this show, so she didn't just spoil it for him. She spoiled it for me too. So I don't know who this character is, but now I have to wait another 10 years or so because apparently this is a 12-year-old spoiler. So I understand that why they put it in here. It's not, but like I had to wait another 10 years to forget this before I watched before I watched The Sopranos. So
wait,
yeah.
is he watching it on HBO Max? I mean, do they have HBO Max in Nepal? I don't how does he get The Sopranos?
I mean, he could have DVDs. I mean, it could be a DVD.
That could be true.
Yeah.
And HBO also, I can say, at least in different parts of South Asia, they do kind of sell rights to their shows to different channels. So
what's her name? What is her name?
Madisynn.
Madisynn with two N's. Not where you think. Yes, Madisynn with two N's and the Y is in.
And a Y and not where you think. Oh boy. Yeah.
She was hilarious.
Oh, man. She was. I mean, she was such an MVP. She was such an MVP this episode. I mean, it's funny because I was reading online, it's like, Marvel always puts these human characters of like, who are the heroes fighting for, and it's usually like very hardworking, kind of blue collar, and then you get like Madisynn, who is just, the woo girl, party girl. And it's amazing. It's like so unexpected.
So like there's been a whole lot of shipping with them over the last day, since this morning, because they're cute together. I feel like he finds her annoying here, and then they're together like 3 or 4 times in this episode. At a certain point, they're like, this is like their 4th date. They're hanging out together. So yeah. Yeah. Wongers at the end there, at the end tag. So yeah, this is the first time we actually see Jen in this episode, and she speaks directly to the camera. She's like, "I know what you just saw. Wong will add a Twitter armor for the next." Yeah, but honestly,
yes, that's like another troll drop from them. Word. Yeah.
Honestly, it won't, because they'll find something to complain about. I think what they were complaining about, the fact that her profile on the dating site wasn't like bi or LGBTQ or whatever. She was a straight woman. It's like, okay, they weren't complaining about it. They were like, oh, you progressive people, you're burned. She's not bi. It's like, okay, I'm not sure
So what?
who was she's just a straight woman. It's like, okay. Honestly, like, I try to like temper my annoyance with this stuff now because honestly, they're only making like they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop because they have YouTube channels too, and they have YouTube channels, and they're making a lot of money, basically, by coming up with ridiculous stuff to complain about. So they always find something to complain about because they make money complaining about it. They get clicks, they get they get attention whenever they put a thumbnail with the word woke on it as if it's a pejorative thing. So yeah. Anyway,
to be honest, it's not really that woke. Like I said in previous episodes, our breakdown for previous episodes. She's a professional woman. So professional woman does bring itself a lot of privilege in a lot of ways. So it's not like she is that kind of she's a social justice warrior type of progressiveness that like they espouse her to be, but she's really not, honestly. So that's kind of like it's kind of a weird type of label to put on her.
She's feminist, but she's also a rich white woman. So that, like you said, it's not like anyway. A rich white woman with superpowers. Yeah. So she's not like a super like downtrodden or unrepresented in media. But the views that she's espousing are sometimes not represented well in media. The feminist views that she's espousing, and they pepper that stuff in. I think there is. Hold on a second. Maybe on later on the episode, there is you see even in her house there's like books like Bad Feminist by Roxane Gay, and I think in a second you're gonna see that right there you see the woman with the dragon tattoo. I think maybe I have the name of that. The girl with, yeah. I read good books, but I got the title wrong. So yeah, the girl with the dragon tattoo, which is I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. That's a very feminist, almost like a revenge plot. So yeah, there are things peppered throughout this episode. So.
Yeah, even like the whole dating montage, it does show the view to an extent, right? Of like just an average woman dating versus I guess a superhero dating, and how Jen's trying to balance that identity because she doesn't have a different identity like Bruce does. She's the same person, so she's trying to cope with that. And that's why I was saying in non-spoiler, it's refreshing because it's like a female writer, a female director. Tatiana Maslany, I think, is like amazing as Jen Walters and She-Hulk. So I think they're just having fun with it, but they're also giving, a very female perspective, which I think is kind of nice. And it's different from Miss Marvel in the extent she's a reluctant hero versus like Kamala just wanted to be the hero. So, yeah. Exactly. So I think it's giving you a female perspective, but from a very different lens, considering we just finished Miss Marvel. So it's,
Yeah, this exchange with him.
I love Mark Linn-Baker as her dad.
He comes over with a shovel, and she's like, "What is that for?" And he's like, "For digging holes, because you were attacked by 4 guys." She's like, "Because that's a good dad." He's like, "Yeah, I'll bury the bodies for you." It's funny. He's funny.
Yeah. I do like the father-daughter relationships that they're kind of showing. They did that in Miss Marvel, and they're obviously doing it here
I don't have to. You can go to one of the breakdown videos to see all the stuff that there's a lot of ridiculousness on her list here, but she scrolls through everything and she goes to the finishing her dating profile here with basically her headshot from her her headshot from her from her job. Although, would they have let her do a headshot? Maybe this is her headshot from the DA's office because they make her be She-Hulk in the office here. So I don't know.
One thing about this, I think that it may be slightly inaccurate because I've had some experience with dating apps in the past, and so even a woman like Jen is going to get a lot of matches, like a lot. I'm sorry, like the way that they portrayed that she doesn't get any matches is totally inaccurate.
Yeah,
She's
because
let's just get real here. Like she is a very attractive woman that has a professional job.
Yeah,
like that. And,
Yes.
So she's gonna get a lot of matches, like from any type of range of guys that are out there. So the fact that she didn't get any is not accurate. Like just because she's on,
I understand what they're going for because like Jen Walters is supposed to be like mousy, but in this show, Jen Walters has Tatiana Maslany's face, so it's great. It strains credulity that dude that she went out with would like rate her a 6, because she has the face that she has. So
that's not gonna happen. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah.
No.
Like if it's like if she was like some toxic person, like really just like in any type of way very toxic to him or treat him bad, okay, I get that, but like
and I understand like She-Hulk has better hair than she does. She has a blowout, so she definitely looks, I guess, more technically like, and she's I mean, if you're a guy who wants to be like, I don't know, lifted up, she's more attractive in certain ways, but it's not like like Jen is like ugly. So it's just, but they're trying to make a point. They're trying to make a point. I guess, yeah.
They are, but she's obviously on the wrong apps. If the only judgment is physicality, she probably needs to get some more apps on there. But we understand the point they're trying to make.
Yeah, so I think this is the interview that she gave earlier in the it's finally actually being aired. And then Wong comes and asks for her assistant. Some of the CGI here at the beginning of the episode is a little wonky for me. It gets better, especially later on. You guys were saying that this is kind of like a lighter episode, but honestly, this episode has the most action in it. Especially like because of all the demons at the end. The most CGI action. So this exchange. I think this exchange is actually from the trailer, where they have the conversation about whether or not he signed an NDA, and he mentions the Book of Ashanti, and she's like, the book of like U.S. laws,
American laws.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do just love the juxtaposition because like he is so self-serious and like it's all about the mystical arts, and she's like did you get him to sign anything, and it's kind of Marvel making fun of itself in a way, being like, you treat, I mean, Wong gets away with everything, right? In a way, like he just kind of comes into New York and does whatever and then leaves, and kind of
a lot of damage done. But who's gonna run after him? Right? Yeah.
Exactly. That's personally just
this is what I was talking.
Control is there to clean it up, It's like
it's true.
Overarching type of like somewhat villain type of thing going with damage control.
Yeah. So this is the one thing that I mentioned earlier about Nikki. We find out that this when they're going through the these briefs, and she mentions that it's bleak for hetero people. So I guess she's gay, but like that's not much of a anything. That's like being straight or gay is not much of anything to go on. Okay, she's gay, or she's part of the LGBTQ community. Okay, that's not really much of anything to go on with her. I don't know anything else about her life besides that she's Jen's friend. Besides she's Jen's friend. Although I think like when Jen went over to her family's house, she tried to rope Nikki into it, and she said that she had a date or something like that.
Yeah, date. Yeah.
Yeah. So
yep, she had a date. And even to Wong, she was like, I sent
a thirst trap.
Intrigue. I don't remember
he's a librarian, right? So she tried to be. She tried to set herself up like a bookish, like a. It's like. She's fun. She's ridiculous, but like, yeah, I'd like to get a little bit more information about her. Yeah, and this guy that comes over, I don't know. Priyo, you can tell us as guys, is something like this has happened to you? Like a guy comes over and says, you guys are alone. Yeah. The point is like we're not alone. We're standing next to you. So I don't understand what the point here is. Like, he thinks he's going to pick up both of them. Is this a? Is he that deluded, or does this ever work with anyone?
It might. I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. I've definitely never had like one guy come solo to a group, but I've definitely had like groups of guys come to like groups of girls being like, hey, you guys need company? And we're like, we have company.
I will say when I was younger,
so it kind of reminded me a little bit of that.
When I would go out by myself, or I go out with one or two guys, we'd go to groups of girls, but they were like not sitting at a table doing work. They were like in the middle. They were in the middle of like a dance floor as a group. And then you approach them, but like I don't know. Obviously they're having a conversation, enjoying each other's company. They're in the bar because they want to relax, not because they want to be with anyone. But anyway, I guess he's not picking up on those cues, and there's lots. And I guess the point of that was that lots of people don't pick up on those cues. So yeah.
You can't blame the guy for trying, but at the same time, he's kind of sleazy about it as well. So like, if he was kind of like not in a non-sleazy way trying to do it, I can't blame him for that. At least at least he tried.
I guess he's trying to shoot a shot. I mean, but like, I think in the credits, I guess in the credits as well, he's listed as married guy, which I didn't notice. But I guess if you zoom in on his hand, you could see it's like a ring or something like that. He's listed. Yeah, he's listed as married guy. Which makes it more sleazy, more sleazy than it was based upon. He was already sleazy based upon the way that he approached. So yeah, So anyway, this whole meeting is hilarious to me. The back and forth between Wong and this guy. He's about to like pull out some real magic, and Jen's trying to calm him down. And also this guy who owns the Mystic Castle as well. Where she mentions, are you his hype man? Because
his hype man.
I don't know. I guess if he has the whole, I don't know, maybe he's the most interesting act in the Mystic Castle, because he's actually doing real magic. It's crappy real magic, but he's the only. All the other magicians are doing cheap tricks. So yeah, so maybe that's why he's the hype man.
It was funny, and I do think like this episode does well in kind of showing the lighter side of Wong, which we got, we got notes of that obviously in the first Doctor Strange when he was talking about Beyonce and having that exchange with Doctor Strange. So I think it's fun, like his whole competitiveness thing here about real magic versus the mystic arts. I think it's just kind of, again, it's cheeky and it shows a different side of Wong. But I love this exchange, and apparently the the actor who played Donny
Yeah.
I think is
Yeah,
the director's husband
that
or
is
something. I know him from
Kat
Entourage. Like it's
Cao's boyfriend or husband. Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, and
okay.
he mentions before they leave because he knows the chime for this for Matcher, and Matcher is, I guess, supposed to be like a version of Tinder.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Which
Yeah. And this was something else I didn't notice this, but when I was looking at Easter eggs, apparently Jen's cell phone is Captain America's
which,
house.
a lot of which again, another thing that they complain about online, that she doesn't like to be objectified, but she's objectifying Captain America.
Oh, come on. It's so disproportionate. Come on now. Please.
She's objectifying Captain America. I feel like
it's so disproportionate.
I feel like Ant-Man objectified Captain America's butt first, and they didn't have. I'm sure there weren't any posts about him objectifying his butt because he was the first one to mention it. But and I'm pretty sure when he mentioned it, there was no posts when Civil War came out. But she has the same appreciation and
Wasn't there something also in the Avenger Con thing in Miss Marvel? Wasn't there something about like? I thought there was some cheeky thing there as well.
Oh yeah. There was a montage. I remember. Yes, there was a cartoon of him and like kind of doing the If you read comic books, whenever they draw Dick Grayson, they draw him in the way that they usually draw women, with his back in his butt in the air. That's always how they draw Dick Grayson in Nightwing, and they drew Captain America like that at Avengers.
Oh, I thought he was doing like twists and turns like a gymnast and like
no. Like his back.
It was like flipping and back flipping and stuff like that.
No. Okay. He's just his back is it's like a pose.
It's just like
it's like a pose.
Right?
His back is to the camera, and he's looking over his shoulder, so you can see his butt. They draw Dick all the time, Dick Grayson like that all the time in the comics. Like Dick Grayson is the one male character that they draw so people can men and women can lust after him, as opposed to the way that they usually draw most women in the comics. So it was just funny.
Yeah. Exactly.
This in this date again, this date, I don't know. Priya, have you had?
He did a number of no-nos where guys should not be,
he's like
in terms of a first date there.
So like he's looking off in another direction. He's on his phone. He's not paying attention to anything that she's saying. He's specifically on the Matcher app. You can see it in his hand. I think when women come by, he looks at them.
Looking at her. Yep.
He's looking at them like he wish he was somewhere else. Yeah.
And he told himself that he's an entrepreneur. He's like, what's an entrepreneur? TBD is like, you're a slacker. Come on now. We already know you're a slacker.
He has no job
for 14 months. You're totally a slacker. You're like the surfer dude. Come on, that's like, hey, yo, or like, what's going on?
There he is. He's looking at
these.
There he is looking at these women. So like, yeah, he's an indeterminate entrepreneur he's an entrepreneur with no idea. So like
there's no reason Jen should have stayed throughout that day.
I think that's the point. Like she got what she put her her profile out there. And she swiped. I got.
That's not accurate. I want to say that again. It's so inaccurate.
That is so. And this. This is the best we got from that. No, cannot.
I can guarantee you that a woman like that would get hundreds, maybe even thousands of requests.
All right, thousands.
Maybe.
maybe because if they recognize that it was Tatiana
I mean,
Maslany, maybe.
Tatiana,
Yeah.
exactly. But even so, I mean, like, yeah, she's just really like, look, she's qualified, she's intelligent, she's smart, she obviously like
Yeah,
can
you're
put
not
herself
tweaking
together. I mean, come on, gotta get more than one match. I know they were going for like obviously just really trying to show the difference between her and She-Hulk, but yeah, I was like, this is the
I feel
most
like what they really should
preposterous
do if they
date.
wanted to like play this up, they should do what they do in like movies in the '90s and just like I don't know, put glasses. Again, her hair's not blown out, but like put glasses on her or something like that. Some people don't like that. Some people do like that. Like I like women with glasses, but whatever. To play it up more because like Jen in the comic, she definitely does look mousy. But again, in the show, she has Tatiana's face, so yeah, it's not credible. But whatever. And then at the end of the day, this standoff is just so very funny. The way that they shot it, the way they shot it.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Like I I thought that they were trying to see like if she was trying to see if he was going to pick it up, or if they were going to have to split it. I didn't think he was going to like have her pick it up all together. That's ridiculous. But whatever. I guess he's thanking her for paying for the pleasure of his company for the 10 minutes that he was there. Anyway,
Many school of thoughts about this. Many schools of thoughts. Many different type of point of view about
I don't know
the tab thing. But I do want to say that in Asian culture, with families and stuff like that, with East Asian culture, I mean, it's like they fight for the bill.
Yeah, I don't.
Asian culture.
I don't know.
That's all I can. That's all I say. Different, very different from dating culture, definitely.
So Priya, have you had dates as bad as this? Okay.
Thankfully
Okay.
not.
So
Thankfully not. No, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't
it's a
even
California
think
thing.
I would be able to last through the whole
People say
thing.
that there are a lot of people like that in California apparently. Um, I feel like
Boy.
I was watching something or reading something earlier today, and they said there. I think someone makes a good point that she wasn't very prepared for this. I feel like a lot of Wong's points are well made. Like this idiot could potentially do damage to the world or the universe, and I don't think she articulated that well. Um, in the court case, she just has what is her name? I forget again. Madisynn come to the stand, and the Madisynn. This is funny because Madisynn is funny, but I feel like this whole thing made like Mo said she should have like had a conversation with Madisynn before the trial. Got the story straight with Madisynn, so she didn't go off script about it being fun and spooky. So I don't know. She's getting paid very a lot. I know she has a lot of stuff going on in her life, but I feel like this is like some bad lawyering to me.
Yeah,
anyway.
I get the sense of that too. It's like why did you off the cuff ask for her to come? It's like that's kind of weird in a lot of ways. If you're any type of competent lawyer, you would not ever introduce such an unpredictable character as your witness. It's just like I think honestly they just played this to comedic effect. It's not really
it's not realistic.
Really like in
not,
a real life court case, you never ever do that type of thing. And I'm not a lawyer, and I know that. It's like there's no way you could ever do that.
Not only that, but the other lawyer would have objected because they would have had to like let them know that they were going to call this person. So yeah, this whole sequence is a little ridiculous, but it does.
I mean, purely comedic
Right.
effect, because the other lawyer
Yeah.
joined in like the magic act with
Yeah.
Donny Please, which was also kind of funny. So yeah, I think completely with the comedic effect. And I was reading online, this one guy was like, I don't want to talk about
Jake!
Mephisto, but just the way she talks about like the
Yeah.
goat demon and giving the blood and Jake and the devil,
Yeah.
and he was like, I don't want to say it, but I'm gonna say it. It made me laugh
Yeah.
after all like the
There was so
WandaVision
much
kind
talk
of
about
tunneling
Mephisto
through
today because
the
of
thing. It made
Madisynn's testimony here. It was a goat, Satan shows up as a goat a lot in lots of different mythologies. I mean, it wasn't Mephisto, but it was Jake. But like, she had to give up a fair amount, and apparently, she's just her delivery here is just so funny. What did she say? I made a pact with a demon that I cannot discuss, otherwise he would reap my soul. And she's like, it's so dramatic. It's like, and I hate drama. Like, her delivery is great. She's definitely the highlight of this episode. Yeah.
It's good. It's actually good in terms of
Yeah.
seeing it on TV. I think that's why a lot of us enjoy reality television. We like to see this type of thing. But if it's like happening to you in your real life and stuff, it's like you gotta step away. You gotta step away. You gotta be like 110 miles away from it, seriously, or miles and miles away from it.
Yeah. So anyway, she fails to get an injunction, which I feel like she should have been able to do pretty easily. And the judge was swayed by seeing a bunny, but whatever.
That was kind of weird too. I'm like, aren't you granting the injunction? No, I just saw mattressing. You can go ahead and make a living. It's like, okay, I kind of get what you're saying, but
yeah. I mean, I don't know. Unless the judge has seen MCU movies, what Wong said about him imploding the universe would be lost on her. So it was up to Jen to actually communicate the gravity of the situation. His joke here when he leaves is a little funny. He says, "I'm going to show you a bird," and it's like. So yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah.
And then the whole Wong and her go back to watch The Sopranos. Which is, I mean, I think the whole scene was very much like it's the courtroom drama, and it would kind of, that TV sitcom thing that we were saying, but they really went for the comedic effect. Because like I do think some of the stronger parts of the episodes are when they're actually in the court. Like even the first episode, the way it started, that's kind of when we see Titania come in and stuff. So I think it's super fun, but definitely this week in the courtroom, it was just pure. It was almost like farcical, right? Because it's like you said, like judge sees a bunny and they're like, oh, how cute. Like that will never happen. It would never happen. But it's just kind of it's so tongue in cheek in the sense like they know they're not being serious.
She was in glasses in one of the views, like when she was there sitting on the couch. So
I don't know if her picture. She does have glasses, but I don't think her picture on the profile or when she went on the date was with glasses. This is also pretty interesting. She's like, why would they send me an alert for saying that there's no why is there an alert for no matches? I don't know. I think that there some apps do bug you like that. Like come and use us more. Like come and swipe on more people. So I think that is something that might actually happen in one of these apps. So yeah.
Yeah, and then she pretty much takes Nikki's advice and posts her profile. That's probably the most pivotal thing that Nikki did, at least for this episode, is convince her to post her profile as She-Hulk.
I mean, the animation on it looks good. The dates definitely look pretty natural and to me for the most part anyway.
Yeah.
This guy.
So, P.S. I totally thought that was Mother's Milk for a second when I was
No,
first watching it.
no, it is.
No way.
It
And
is
then
not
I was like, no,
Mother's
it's
Milk, but
not
this
him, but
is
it
an
would have been
actual
hilarious.
real MMA fighter. That's boasting about the fact that he can lift 600 pounds and he's not even a superhero. Uh, and yelling at the wait staff. I
I
forget
didn't
what.
even notice that. That's a good catch, though, Priya. That you thought that was
Yeah,
him.
Just for a second because of how he was dressed, and then just like the goatee. Just for a second, like when I
yeah.
first saw it, I was like, oh
This
my god, is
guy,
that Mother's Milk?
this
Because that
guy's
would be
gimmick,
funny. But then I was like, oh, it's
coincidentally, as an MMA fighter, is that he was a lawyer actually. Yeah. So. Um,
funny.
I don't know. I guess he's not as much of as much of a jerk as he's playing in this episode, but he's a real MMA fighter. I forget this guy. He has a movie that premiered actually about a lawyer
Like,
as well. His expertise is constitutional law, and he became the attorney to the vice president. Okay. This guy is just like a little bit too much of a fan. Like he wants to know how invulnerable she is. Like wants to know if her skin can be broken by vibranium. So do you think this is the guy that actually tried to poke her the other day? Remember, he had a ski mask on. Like so maybe he's trying to probe her.
oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean on
Who
the
tried
neck?
to get
Yeah,
their
yeah,
blood?
Yeah.
Maybe it could be.
He's trying to get information about how to get her blood.
For the secret boss.
Yeah.
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 He's super weird.
Yeah.
He's super weird. And then there's the too good to be true pediatric oncologist here that actually goes well.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's interesting in that I found that very interesting in that you have a disproportionate amount of kind of like not very okay guys, and there's one really too good to be true guys. I wonder if it's like the proportion is much more evened out. I don't really know. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's different in different parts of the country or even around the world. I don't really know the dynamics of that, but I just find it interesting. It's very disproportionate, you know.
Yeah,
That,
I guess it really depends on what you click on. Like I feel like she was clicking on a lot of guys who were like, look, some of them are really attractive and some of them look like normal. I feel like she would have been able to pull a lot more guys, and some of the guys who looked normal would have been actually like normal as well. They wouldn't have been like jerks. But I don't know.
Yeah. We also don't know
Right.
how many dates she had that night, so like they might have just showed the clips of like her
Yeah.
most extreme, kind of situations. But I do think they were trying to make a point that even though She-Hulk is, more kind of intimidating and more confident than Jen, that there is still a struggle that she has of like connecting with somebody who
Right.
kind of wants to know her and wants to kind of be with her. So I think they were trying to make that point, even though it
Yeah.
was in a very kind of extreme and comedic way. Because that's at the crux of the whole thing as well, right? Like Jen is a reluctant superhero. She doesn't really want to be She-Hulk. She's trying to slowly embrace She-Hulk. She has to
Yeah.
at work, and now she's starting to in her personal life as well. But it's not kind of she's
Yeah.
still struggling to kind of figure
So
out
yeah, so
what
this
that
guy
means
makes a
for her.
mess, and then he goes to Wong to try to fix it. The, he's watching This Is Us. This is the funeral scene in This Is Us. For Jack, that show I do watch, or I did watch before it went off. So yeah, and then he goes to help. So yeah, they're having a lot of chemistry here, and then she's ignoring her. All this animation actually looks pretty good, by the way. all this, her movement here, even the shadows of her body casting on his body, they did a good job. They did a really good job here. She looks like she's actually in the space as opposed to sometimes when she's in her office with other people. The sunlight, it doesn't look like she's actually in the same room. It looks a lot better here than it does in other places. Her reactions here, she's like her horn dog reactions here. Anyway, are also funny. Yeah. So like I said, this is the most action that we've gotten out of her. She's actually doing She-Hulk like stuff, except for in the first episode, right? She's actually doing like hero stuff here.
Yeah.
To get rid of all these demon things, which seem to be growing out of an egg that. I mean, they're not like super dangerous, but like they keep getting bigger and bigger. So, so she uses him or the gremlin to try to get him to agree with to the injunction. Yeah,
that's where the book is. Nathan. He's the one who's reading the bad feminist.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think he carries it.
I don't know.
That would be too much. That would be too much.
Why are you carrying that?
It's possible that he was reading it.
Possibly.
Yes.
That's definitely like the too good to be true date. You know, like he's saying the right things. Let's split the fries. Here's the book I'm reading. By the way,
maybe he showed up to the date. Because he was taking public transit and he needed to read something on public transit, and that's what.
That is too good to be true.
I love how you guys are always. I love how you guys are giving the guys the benefit of the doubt.
That's why he had a book to read on public transit. He's
too good to be true, Nathan.
He's environmentally conscious on colleges. He's a pediatric oncologist. He could be, driving not a Bentley. He could be driving a BMW or a Mercedes, but he's taking public transportation. He needs to read on public transportation, so that's why he has the book.
We find out.
Yes, we did.
We find out he is too good to be true in this coming scene right now.
To her because again, it's unlikely that he would react to her like that unless he just has like a fetish. Like the fact that she was bigger than him is what turned him on, and she's a lot smaller than him because he is a big guy. I didn't like the way that he reacted, but also it's a completely different woman. It's not like. It's a completely different woman. But
also, I think that the main point here is that I think that in any type of relationship, you need to build honesty. So the fact that she's slightly dishonest about this probably kind of turned him off. And yes, he didn't really have a very good reaction. I would say kind of very jerky, but at the same time, she was being dishonest to him in some.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know. Yeah. You sort of.
Yeah. But you see, but just to say, because I think that's the thing in Jen's mind, she is the same person, right? Like for her,
right?
See that she's like, I'm She-Hulk and I'm Jen Walters, and because Bruce says that she doesn't have an alter ego, so in her mind, she's like, I'm the same person, and not kind of maybe realizing just the impact of, I was surprised by the reaction, to be honest. I mean, did I think he was going to stay? I don't know. But I was also like, oh, you're not going to say anything? You're just going to
it was a little
just
bit
be like,
weird,
all right, I'm out.
I think people are online trying to compare this to waking up to a woman with the makeup off. It's not the same thing.
No, I don't think that's
her body is completely different than the body that he slept with the night before. It's a completely different thing than that. So, yeah.
Yeah. No. That's like, you went out with Mystique and you come back and she got the serum overnight and now she's looks different.
Yeah. and I guess he's just not interested in someone who's shorter than him or whatever. He didn't react well, but the fact that he wasn't interested in her, I don't think is necessarily means that he's a jerk. I think he could have handled it. I think he could have handled it better, but
yeah. Like I said, it was more of a jerky reaction. It wasn't like he was the jerk.
It's not an irrational reaction. Right. Is what I'm trying to say. So yeah.
I do like the male perspective here. I think it's I love how you guys are like.
I think it's. I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to be fair. Like if the shoe was on the other foot and a woman went to sleep and the next day the guy looked completely different. No, like was the person that you actually slept with and spent the night with. It was. You woke up and you were in a room with like someone who looked like their roommate. It was a completely different person.
Yeah, you would like be a little Hulk and Bruce Banner. No, I get it. I get it. I do appreciate that. I just think it's interesting to kind of say like he wasn't a jerk. It was the way he reacted that was kind of jerky. Yeah. I can agree with that.
Yeah. So yeah, and then she's served at the end by Titania, who's trademarked the name She-Hulk. Which is funny. So we actually get to see her. We've seen her in like the crawl for the last couple episodes, but we haven't actually seen her show up. Since the first episode, she's usually they're like all these news stories about her getting off and things like that. But yeah.
So it's interesting. I'd actually read initially that the very first episode, was supposed to be the penultimate episode.
Yeah,
initially.
It was supposed to be the 8th episode. Yeah.
And so they obviously said like, oh, we need the origin,
the origin
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is Madisynn actually.
My name is Jake.
This is Madisynn siding over to what you call it.
Jake.
It's just funny. Like this is what the court recorder is drawing. She's really good. She's really good, I guess. But also. She didn't say that she went there with a glass of wine. I guess she's just assuming because Madisynn showed up in the courtroom drunk that she was in hell with a glass of wine. It was funny.
I do love the end credit animations because here Wong like puts Donny Blaze in the mirror dimension, which I think is funny because he said it he threatens to do so in the episode.
And he specifically said it in court, right? So maybe the same person who's actually drawing this in court heard him say that. But how would they know what the mirror dimension looks like though? So I don't know. It was funny. I think they have this family dinner thing at the end of every episode.
And this,
Matcher. I think the Venice thing is also something that they always have at the end of every episode as well.
This Avenger thing too.
As well.
And
I also did giggle when Tatiana Maslany ends the episode being like, well, that was a bummer way to end the episode. Hopefully there's a great tag.
A great tag, yeah. And the tag was fun.
It's so fun. I love the fourth wall stuff so much.
Madisynn and Wongers. I want Madisynn to come back and Wongers to come back. It's she did a good job. This actress did a really good job. So yeah.
She really did.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to not read into it, but like when he did say like, "Oh, we have leftover from the wedding," I definitely was like, "Which wedding is he talking about?"
Multiverse Madness wedding. I think.
But then like it wasn't. Like they're in Carmitage, right? So
yeah, he didn't go to that. He didn't go to that wedding. He
didn't go to. He didn't go to that wedding. So in my mind, I'm like, was there an off-screen Doctor Strange and Clea wedding that happened?
No. So like
probably not.
He said the wedding, and I don't know. Like originally, the black woman who dies in multiverse spoilers, multiverse of madness. the black woman who died.
Don't be Madisynn right now.
Yeah,
Nathan.
yeah. The black woman who dies in Multiverse of Madness. There was a subplot cut out where they were in a relationship. So I don't know. Her sacrificing herself for him was supposed to be even more weight because it would have been her sacrificing herself for her lover. And they cut that out. So maybe he was talking about that, which would have been sad. Like there's still left over from his wedding, and his wife is gone.
Oh.
Yeah, so I don't know.
That would be sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, they are in Camartage, so that's why I don't think they're talking about Christine's wedding.
Yeah, and he specifically said like yak milk and vodka. That's not really a Western thing to have at a wedding. So yeah, I assume it's
I'm not sure if it's an Eastern thing to have either.
I don't know. I don't know if it's an Eastern or Napoli thing. Maybe yak milk is, but I don't know. Yak milk and vodka. I don't know if that's a thing. I know that there are alcoholic drinks with like milk in them, even but yeah. So anyway, any other thoughts before we wrap up? We've been talking about it. We've been talking for an hour. Like I said, this episode was funny. Mostly because of Madisynn. But yeah. Any other thoughts before we wrap up? Looking forward to the next episode.
Yeah, I don't know if this is going the Madisynn Wong relationship is just like a platonic thing or not. But it's very interesting in that separate subplot as to like whether or not some of the East Asian men are going to be in some type of romantic relationship in the future. Not to say that that's kind of like a big thing that we want to root for or whatever. It's just kind of interesting to kind of see that that Shang-Chi did not have a platonic relationship with Katie. Now we have Wong that has a platonic relationship with Madisynn. It's like, whether or not it develops into something, who knows? I don't really care too much, but it's like, it's something to look at. It's something to observe, to kind of see where that's going to take us. If they're going to keep repeating that same beat or not.
I don't know. Like they could go either way with this. Like she's super flirty, but that's because she's always drunk.
Right.
But she's also, the way that it looks here, she's also, as opposed to the way she showed up to court because she was pulled out of a party. She's dressed very, very comfortably here, so it could just be like a friend thing here. So
right, exactly.
And she doesn't have a drink in her hand.
Yeah, she's drunk though. Still, it's like she came from a party, or she pre-gamed before she came over to watch This Is Us. Yeah. This Is Us with him. So.
I will be curious because I do wonder if she was just written as comedic relief for this episode, but because she's getting so much love. If they will bring her back, I'll be curious.
I don't know. We still haven't seen we saw her show back up in the Thor movie. What's her name? Darcy. But there was a lot of clamoring last year for Darcy and Woo, Jimmy Woo spinoff, and that never happened. So I don't. They also, it takes them a while. They have a lot of stuff in the pipeline. They turned around the Agatha show very quickly because there was a lot of response to Agatha as well. But I think they're sleeping on the Jimmy Woo Darcy thing. They definitely should do something with that because they're good together too. As that is more platonic to me. This could go either way with Wong in Madisynn. Yeah. So anyway, I think we've exhausted this topic. Any other thoughts before we close up? No. All right. So that is what we think, but we're interested to hear what you guys think. Please comment down below. Like, comments, subscribe, share, and we will see you next week. All right, guys. Bye.